Copy 540. This is a continuation of a previous video. This is part B. I highly recommend, if you haven't watched part A, you go check it out. I'll have a link to it in the comments. Now, where we left off, we covered 12 of the 19 timeless masterpieces that I wanted to share with you today. Let's get right into the next 7. Oh, but first, as before, I have a couple of honorable mentions. I couldn't make this video without giving a shout out to the games of my childhood. The Humongous Entertainment games are point-and-click adventure games that are geared towards kids. In elementary school, these were among my favorite games of all time, right up there with Majora's Mask and Paper Mario. As an adult, these games are still engaging and overflowing with creativity, but their shortness and simplicity makes it difficult to put them in the same list as games like Ocarina of Time and Paper Mario, even though they are designed with just as much mastery. Sadly, despite being one of my all-time favorite video game developers, Humongous Entertainment has long since died. But you can still pick up their games pretty cheap digitally through places like Steam or, soon, the Nintendo Switch. If you've never played a Humongous Entertainment game, check one out. Pajama Sam and Spy Fox are my favorites, but Putt Putt and Freddy Fish are great too. If you have kids in elementary school, these are some of the best games you could ever buy for them at that point in their lives. The first title for this video is Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, originally for the Game Boy Advance in Japan, but first released in the US on the Nintendo DS. The Ace Attorney series is a franchise of hit after hit after hit, so on any day, I would recommend that you play all of them. However, my personal favorite, and the one to make the cut for this list, is the first one, simply titled Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney, sometimes abbreviated PWAA by fans. The premise of a lawyer game sounds outlandish, but this game and its sequels have some of the best writing, humor, characters, and drama of any game you will ever play. Playing as rookie defense attorney Phoenix Wright, you must butt heads with the pompous prosecutor Miles Edgeworth as you investigate crime scenes, gather evidence, press witness testimony in court, and present evidence that contradicts an incorrect statement. With a soundtrack full of chill urban music and booming organs, this game is absolutely gripping and will have you glued to your screen night after night as you make your way through the court cases. The game has such great insight into the human condition and frequently dives into what circumstances and mental states would make a criminal kill somebody and how an ordinary person could be driven to murder. Full of stunning plot twists, adrenaline-filled triumphs, and high stakes, this is not a series to miss, and the first game gets the ball rolling with some of the best and most devious cases the series has to offer. Next up, another GameCube classic, but I've got the GameCube version in storage. I only have the Wii version on hand. Next up is Pikmin, originally for the Nintendo GameCube. Pikmin is a bizarre game that doesn't fit nicely into any genre, although perhaps its best fit is a strange sort of real-time strategy game. It's a far cry from Age of Empires 2, though. Pikmin is about the tiny alien businessman Captain Olimar, who crash lands his spaceship on the planet Earth. He has to find the missing pieces of his ship in 30 days before the oxygen in the atmosphere kills him. Smaller than a GameCube controller, this is no easy task for him, so he enlists the aid of a local ant-like species that he names Pikmin. Over the course of 30 days, by raising and nurturing your Pikmin army, you scour the local area of the planet for your ship pieces while fending off fearsome bugs and other animals. The game has a real atmospheric vibe to it that works nicely with its addictive gameplay and scenic locales. What's nice about Pikmin compared to its sequels is that it has a relatively short length and has multiple endings, which gives it an arcadey feel that the others don't have. This is one of the GameCube's shiniest gems, and no Nintendo fan should miss it. The Wii re-release, with widescreen support and motion controls, is even better. Next, the sequel, Pikmin II for the Nintendo GameCube. Pikmin II follows Captain Olimar as he returns home to his planet, only to find that the company he works for has gone broke. The company president sends Olimar and his son Louis back to Earth to collect alien artifacts that they can sell back home to get the company out of debt. Pikmin 2's gameplay is very similar to the first, with a few exceptions. You have to multitask between controlling Olimar and Louis, which is something that Pikmin 3 expands on even further. There are vast dungeons beneath the Earth's surface for you to explore with bosses galore, and there is no time limit. The artifacts that you find are actually real-world items, many of which you will recognize, but which also hint that perhaps humans may not be around on the planet anymore. What is amazing about this game is that every single treasure comes with a journal entry by Olimar where he either makes scientific observations about the planet or has moments of philosophical introspection. Every enemy in the game and many of the plants have scientific data that you can read, including scientific names, taxonomic family classification, and ecological data. If you collect every treasure or find every bug, there are sales pitches and culinary information you can read too. I am always struggling with an internal conflict over which game is better between Pikmin, Pikmin 2, and Pikmin 3. Today, my vote is for Pikmin 2. I recommend this game to every person I meet who is interested in biology and likes video games. It is the ultimate game for a biologist. The next game I have digitally on my Wii U and on my Nintendo Switch. It is Shovel Knight. In Shovel Knight, you play as a character named Shovel Knight who is trying to rescue his girlfriend Shield Knight from the evil Enchantress and the Knights of No Quarter. The game is a platformer that most notably takes cues from NES games such as DuckTales, Mega Man, and Zelda 2: Adventure of Link. This game is an indie game that took the world by storm, and it blew me away when it came out in the summer of 2014. Here you will find some of the tightest platforming around, with an excellent high difficulty level that is consistently fair and doable, but always a challenge. The jumping and pogo sticking you do is shaken up by many fun and useful items you can find and purchase in each level. As of August 2019, it also has 2 full-length modes where you can play old and new levels as 2 of the game's villains, a plague doctor and a scythe-wielding phantom. In the future, we can expect a 3rd mode and a battle mode as well. This game has a lot of personality and is my personal favorite platformer, and that is really saying something, because it has a lot of competition in that department. The next game is a classic I'm sure everybody will recognize. It is Skyrim. Originally for the Xbox 360, PS3, and PC, it was re-released on PS4 and Xbox One and Switch, but you know where to get it. We all know where to get it. You want to get it on PC. Skyrim. Skyrim likely needs no introduction. Taking the role of a prophesied hero known as the Dragonborn, you are effectively dumped into the snowy kingdom of Skyrim, a country suffering from a civil war interrupted only by the return of the fabled and wicked dragons from long ago. This game, for its time, was, and still is, massive. There are millions of places to go, countless things to do, and an infinite number of ways to play. There's so much variety that, well, more than 100 hours in, I've barely touched the main story at all. Skyrim is a poorly built game in which you can write a million stories and immerse yourself. What got it to make the cut for this list, however, was the PC version, thanks to a healthy and ongoing modding community. Almost every single flaw in Skyrim can be done away with via mods, from its numerous bugs and glitches, to its ugly graphics, to its broken magic system. Modded Skyrim is unbelievable, and draws me back into the cold country again and again and again. I say it a million times. There is always something new to discover in Skyrim. It is truly a gift that keeps giving. The next title is another title that I have digitally on the Wii U. It is Super Metroid.
The last Metroid is in captivity. The galaxy is at peace.
Super Metroid, also less commonly known as Metroid 3, follows the bounty hunter Samus Aran as she returns to the planet Zebes from the first game, this time trying to track down the last known member in existence of a destructive and terrifying alien species known as the Metroids. This game completely revolutionized the platformer genre and is the mother of an entire class of platformers known today as Metroidvanias, but Super Metroid today remains the best of them all. Quiet, haunting, spooky, and atmospheric, you will quickly find yourself lost in the winding labyrinth of Planet Zebes with no indication as to where to go, and it feels amazing. You have to backtrack a lot in this game, and that sounds like a con, but it is the hanging fruit of the Metroidvania style, and Super Metroid will get you into a groove that will leave you constantly asking for more, as I have since I first played the game in 2013. One of Super Metroid's strengths is its emphasis on skill. With the right amount of skill, you can sequence break and do things in whatever order you would like. Or, if you're new to the game and can't pull off the timing of a wall jump, you can just keep going and see where the game takes you. Another thing I appreciate is its short length. At 7 hours, this is the kind of game that stays as long as it needs to and never outstays its welcome. My recommendation for newcomers is to use a guide, and then try the game again on your own to see if you can find everything. This game is a masterclass in game design, and to this day is rightfully considered by many to be one of the greatest games ever made. The final game, unfortunately, is one that I'm lending out, so I can't show it to you physically, but it is the one, the only, Trauma Team for the Nintendo Wii. Trauma Team is a medical drama made by Atlus, the studio behind the highly successful Shin Megami Tensei, Etrian Odyssey, and Persona series, and is the final entry in the Trauma Center series. You play as 6 different medical professionals: a surgeon, a first responder, an orthopedic surgeon, an endoscopist, a diagnostician, and a forensics investigator, as they unravel the mystery of a new fatal pathogen. Each character has completely different gameplay, ranging from standard trauma center surgery to a poor man's Ace Attorney game. Surgery is a little better and more challenging in this game's predecessor, Trauma Center New Blood, but the variety and quality of the other gameplay modes in Trauma Team, in my opinion, give Trauma Team the edge. Each character has their own personal issues to solve, and a backstory for the player to discover. My favorite 2 modes are the diagnosticians, where you have the difficult job of taking people who insist there is nothing wrong with them and figure out just how fucked up their bodies are, and the forensics investigators, where you have to investigate crime scenes and listen to witness testimony in order to figure out how a person died and who killed them. Like Ace Attorney, something I really value about the Trauma Center games is how great they make you feel while helping people without resorting to violence, a rarity in video games. If you are a fan of the Wii, or are curious about just what the pinnacle of motion control design is, or are just interested in biology and medicine, you owe it to yourself to play Trauma Team. Unlike Nintendo's premium offerings, you can find Trauma Team for dirt cheap. This is not only one of the best Wii games, and the game that out-Nintendo'd Nintendo on motion controls, but one of the best games ever made, period. Well, there you have it. 19 amazing games, and some honorable mentions to go with them. Obviously, there are way more masterpieces than just that. 2 of my favorite franchises of all time, the Kirby series and the Pokemon series, didn't even make it into the top 19, which was a huge shame, but Zelda kind of crowded them out. And I'm sure you have experienced your own masterpieces that maybe I've played them, maybe I've never experienced them yet. If there is one that I didn't mention that you think I should check out, well, let me know in the comments, and I'll let you know maybe I've played it already, maybe I don't have any interest, or maybe that's one to stick on the list. I suppose I should say, I did contrary to what I said in my previous video, I did make a ranked list of these 19 games. It was a very, very hard list, and it's one that really, I think numbers 2 through 7, if I've got my numbering correct, 2 through 7, maybe 2 through 8 are ones that could really move around all the time, with the only exception of Majora's Mask I always like better than Ocarina of Time. But if you were curious, here is, I'll just leave it at the top 10, but here are my top 10 video games currently of all time. They are number 10, Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. Number 9 is Earthbound, which again I have on the Wii U. And then starting with number 8, it gets really fuzzy. Just take this with a grain of salt. It changes every single day. Number 8 is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Number 7 is Kingdom Hearts. Number 6 is Ocarina of Time. Number 5 is Majora's Mask. And that's the only consistency, again, is, no matter how these are ordered, Majora's Mask always winds up on top of Ocarina of Time. What number was that? 1, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Number 4 is Kingdom Hearts 2, although specifically I prefer the PS3 and PS4 remaster because of the better soundtrack. Otherwise, if we're just talking PS2 versions, Kingdom Hearts 1 I like better than Kingdom Hearts 2. Let me make sure I don't miss any. Yeah, number 3 I don't have on hand. I'm lending it. It's The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Number 2 is Paper Mario. And the original, to be clear. And so those, Kingdom Hearts, or Breath of the Wild through Paper Mario are, the order changes every day. Sometimes Paper Mario is at number 2, sometimes like it's at number 5. It's very difficult, but always, since 2011, at number 1 is The Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, my favorite game of all time. For now, until something better comes. And I grabbed the GameCube version since I wanted to have the originals of everything when I hold them up. But actually, the best way to play this is on the Wii U. Wind Waker HD is the definitive way to play the world's greatest video game. Thank you very much for watching. I hope something here or there piqued your interest, and maybe you'll, in a few weeks' time, you'll have found a new favorite. If you have any comments to leave, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And I hope you have a marvelous, amazing rest of your day. Thank you very much for watching my video.